Welcome to Truth Talkin Thursday. This is Jim. I'm Jane. And I think today we should talk about truth. What exactly is truth? And is it like a universal thing? Is it like an understood thing? Or is it like your truth and my truth? How do you feel about that, Jim?
Well, it's a really good question, and I must say that we had a bit of a heated discussion before we turned the camera on today to just figure that out, and it was a good conversation. They always are. Truth to me is truth is my truth. It's how I see things. It's my interpretation of how things are, what I see, what I hear, when I put all the elements and the information together that I've had an opportunity to be involved with. If I if I see somebody walking along the street and somebody comes up and punches them in the face, my truth would be to the police officer that yes, he was accosted by a stranger, he didn't provoke it and all that kind of stuff. It's me being able to put together all the available information that I have at my disposal at that moment and telling what it is I know.
But that is your truth.
That's my truth.
It could be that 5 minutes before you saw those two, the gentleman that got his face punched punched the other dude, or punched his kid, or messed around with his wife. Or it could well be that there's a truth there that warranted what he got. So, not that violence is ever acceptable. I don't mean that. No. I just mean that it sometimes happens.
So is truth always consistent?
I think it depends. To me, when you first started talking, I was thinking about truth, and I was thinking, to me, there's a component to truth that has to do with reality. And I say that knowing that it could open up a whole nother can of worms. But what I mean by that is our reality is, as you said, Jim, factual. What you want or what you imagine is not your reality. Because it's not real. Therefore, it could be the truth of what you want or imagine, but that doesn't mean that that's what is.
Well, if somebody walked out and punched me in the nose, that's my reality, all right.
That is your reality.
Because I got the bloody nose to prove it.
Definitely.
So, how much then does trust have to do with truth?
I think it would definitely fall into play with the other party.
So if I don't trust
you tell me a story and I don't trust you, I mean, that can go one of two ways, right? I can let it go in one ear and out the other and go, ha ha ha, oh, that's so funny. Or I can fall for it, hook, line, and sinker, back you up, and end up looking like an idiot. Or it could actually be the truth,
But the only one that really knows whether it is or not is the one that's saying that's the truth. That's the only person that really knows. And so when people are accused of something, for instance, we were talking about that earlier, if people are accused of something, for instance, and they tell their truth, we're supposed to believe them? How do we know that that's their truth? How do we know that they're not lying to us?
Like I said before, I would like to believe that you could trust somebody who is telling you something, but I'm also not naive enough to believe that that never happens. I think for me personally, it is of the utmost importance to me to examine what I'm thinking and feeling and what actually happened before I allow my mind to just race off in one of its many directions to form conclusions or opinions about a situation. I posted recently this little boy with his mouth wide open screaming into a microphone, or a microphone. And it says, "Help me to shut my big mouth until I know the facts." And I liked that because I felt like, I think there's a lot of us that do that. We we hear of something, or we see something, or are involved in something, and because of our past experiences, we have an opinion on it. We've already assessed the situation and made up our minds.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't necessarily have all of the facts.
So when we get into a court of law, or when we're charged with some crime of some kind, when we've been accused of something, unjustly or not unjustly, the truth reigns supreme, supposedly. So again, how do we know? Where's the guarantee that says who the person who leveled the charges is telling the truth?
Well, that's why you pay the lawyers $100 an hour. They're supposed to figure that out. That's their job.
They're supposed to figure that out. How would you know? How do we live by the truth if nobody can believe what the truth is? What's the point? What's the point of putting your hand in the Bible in the courtroom and saying, I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help me God? And 3/4 of the people up there wouldn't look God in the eye, or don't even consider that there is a God. Or so that means nothing.
Yep. Agreed.
Well, I swore on the Bible. Yeah. So what? So what? He lied about. He started out his testimony by lying about telling the truth because he has no idea what the truth is.
To me, that's really sad. Totally sad. It's no wonder that the state of our society is what it is, because there is a total lack of trust for many people.
And I feel obligated to toss this in before we sign off here. But if we take a look at the south of us, I've often said that there's a village down there that's missing an idiot, and I haven't changed my mind about that. But here's a guy who doesn't even bother to lie anymore. He doesn't, because he's untouchable. And yet we're supposed to look up to our leaders and our leadership, and I'm thinking about our kids now. Mm-hmm. How do we hold up the guy like that, who really should not be? I mean, there's nobody that's more ill-suited for that position than him. How do we hold up? Who do we hold up to our children? The epitome of truthfulness and honesty and all that kind of thing, when he is allowed to run around and do whatever he wants to whoever he wants at any time he wants. And so our kids look at that, and so when you talk about truth, what do they start to believe in terms of what you and I as parents are telling them?
Mm-hmm. I think that's a very real concern for me.
And it will be a very strong concern for parents out there right now. But in a few years, the coming years, that one is going to come back and bite us in the backside. No question about it in my mind. And trying to teach anybody about truth at that point will be it'll get back to the strongest of the fittest and all that kind of thing is survival. It won't have anything to do with truth.
A couple weeks ago, we talked about speaking your truth, and I stand by what we said in that video.
Oh yeah, so do I.
The importance of speaking your truth is monumental, and as Jim said, our children are watching.
Oh.
They're watching us, and they're learning from us, and the importance of being real and honest are gravely undersold and under encouraged in my mind.
I would agree.
I think that we're in big trouble. We're in big trouble when lying, cheating, and stealing is so rampant.
And so
where are we headed?
And so acceptable, it seems.
So your truth, in my mind, your truth equates with reality, and that's not something that's imagined. It's not something that you want or hope for. It's real. What is the truth right now? What is your reality right now? That's how I view it.
Yeah.
So have a great week.
Thanks for stopping by.